Good afternoon. Today is the 6th of August and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So, as with some of the very vague vlogs that you would have seen this year, I attended a Test Valley Motor Enthusiasts event last night with my lady wife, and it's not really a long enough video to put into a full shambolic shuffle, and so because it's the 50th anniversary this year of the Test Valley Motor Enthusiasts, they did a special party with some very rare old cars came to. We've got some lovely 1950s music in the background, which hopefully won't give me a copyright claim, and it was a pleasant evening. It's not rare today, but I thought you'd like to see what was there. We don't film everything. There's certain things we can't film at all, and certain things are a bit too new. But we shall go now to the location where we were last night and have a look to see what people brought to the Test Valley Motor Enthusiast 50th anniversary. Good evening. Today is the 5th of August, and this is the 50th anniversary of the Test Valley Motor Enthusiast celebration. We're out at a field in the New Forest, which is owned by a couple of members of the club. And as you can hear in the background, we've got some 1950s music going on. I hope I don't get a copyright claim for this. There's some really fascinating cars some members have bought, actually, to this 50th anniversary celebration. So now we've had the very enjoyable hog roast, I'll just have a look at some of the stuff. The cut-off date I think we're going to be using is 2004, which is 20 years ago. There are a lot of other cars here that are newer than that, but we'll just say that is the sort of cut-off date for things we'll be looking at. So this is a 1928 Austin. It's actually a fabric body. I'll just get very close to it. Maybe some of you have never seen a fabric body car before, but that's what it looks like. You can see it's covered in this sort of vinyl type material. And I don't think I've ever seen one of these before, actually, apart from maybe a show or something. But it's 96 years old, this car, which is crazy. I think we've got some brake lights on here and flashing indicators. It's probably quite sensible. And some little sort of reflectors on the back, but wouldn't have had those originally. Crazy. But we've got the first of three Triumph TR6. This is a 1969 to 70 model. This has actually got the original front sort of under bumper treatment. The other two that are here have front spoilers on them. This one doesn't. This is the original specification. And the original wheels, I think, that's in very nice condition. Next to it is a 1932 Morris Minor. And obviously every classic car gathering has to have a Morris Minor, but not maybe perhaps one of these. This is one of the original Morris Minors. I think they've got like really terrible brakes, and I think the pedals are in a different order from say an Austin 7, which is the main competition for one of these at the time. You don't get a boot either. You get a little thing at the back where you can sort of put things and try not to lose them with a bungee cord, which is interesting. I think perhaps if I drove one of those I'd have to exercise extreme caution. And it says, yeah, parts might fall off. You think this is a slow way till we go uphill. I don't think the engine in this had an awful lot of power from memory, but neither did an Austin 7, so that was no surprise to most of the people who would have bought these back in the day. River P6, I think this is a 72. The reason I can tell you that is because it's like a Series 1.5 car. We've got the facelift, but we've still got the original 2-litre engine rather than the 2.2, which I think was introduced in 1972. And this being on an L would be only in 72 or 73. It's actually got the nicer dash, the 2000 SC as it was, I think, renamed when the facelift came in, I think 1970. Still had the original sort of strip speedo. In the TC with two carbs, you did get a slightly nicer dash with a few more gauges and things like that. Look at the centre of here and all the sort of lights on the little instruments. It was to help you at night. The knobs are different shapes so that you don't accidentally use the wrong dial or anything like that at night, which is quite clever. It's a very clever car, the P6. I've driven one of these. It was a 67 automatic, which was good. I also like, obviously, the later cars like this one. 54 to 55 MG TF. This is a 1500 model, so it's one of the last of this shape. Obviously, just after these came out, these finished production of the MGA came out, which is very different. Obviously, this still got the X-Pag engine in it. The MGA had a completely different 1.5 engine compared with the X-Pag in this. It's a very beautiful car. This, see, beige leather interior and lovely flowing lines. So iconic was this car that they made a sort of replica of it called, I think, the Hudson Nailer, which was in the 1980s, using things like the BLO series engine, but this is an original one from the sort of mid-50s. And here is an MGA. This is a later one. This is a 1600, about sort of 1960, 61, something like that, I think. So it's one of two MGAs that are here this evening. Look at this colour-coordinated dash. At some point in my life, I'd like to try an MGA. I've driven an MGB. I would like to try an MGA. I think they're a lot more expensive in general, these, than the MGB, so it's a beautiful looking car. Talking earlier on about TR6s, and here is a pair of them. This is I think a 69 or a 70, this one, on an H. I think this is called Primrose Yellow, this colour. I could be wrong. Those wheels, I think, are slot mags. I could be wrong about that. I'm not so good on stuff like this, but I think that's what they're called. It's in very nice condition, as is this slightly later example, which proudly says on the back it's got overdrive. 71 to 72 on a K. Bit of a sort of different colour scheme going on. This car's actually got a 5-speed gearbox. I don't know what that'll be off, actually. Probably a sensible idea in modern traffic, and extra lights in the grille to help with driving at night and things like that. Looks good, actually. They both look very good. I think the front spoiler does actually suit these cars as well. 1967 to 68 Triumph Herald 1360 convertible. There's actually two of these in the club. This is just one of them. We saw this actually in July, I think, in a video that I made around that sort of time. Yeah, very original looking one actually, and not modified. So 2004, so very late, Jaguar XK8 X100 shape. It is a personal plate on this, but I have checked and it is a 2004. It's the same date as the plate. Unusual colour for one of these, I think. Normally you see these in metallic shades, but this looks good. We've also got a very, very nice version of the classic interior that these came with, which has the sort of wood and leather, which is what you want really on a car like this. I have driven one of these. It was a 1997 model with a 4-litre engine. They're quite fast. Also fast and actually older than that Jaguar, although it looks a lot more modern. It's this 2003 Subaru Legacy. Japanese import, interesting kind of interior in there. I think someone's changed the infotainment system for a more modern one. It's hard to think actually this car is over 20 years old. It doesn't look like that to many people, but a lot of people would say that is actually a classic, and I would probably agree actually, in as much as that's also a classic. I think most people would agree that is too. 1972 Wolseley 6 wearing Rover SD1 V8 wheels, I think, with some how do you call it, radot, extra mirrors on it. Very early Wolseley 6. They came out in 72, and this is the sort of first half of 72 on a K. So rather interesting, and this colour as well. I remember when I was growing up in the late 80s, a friend of mine at primary school, his parents had one of these in this exact colour, which is crazy. Purple interior on that as well. Then we've got a 1934 Talbot. This is one of the Talbots that were made, I think, in North Kensington was a factory. It just says Talbot London on the grille. Obviously, later on, Talbot sort of reappeared at various points, but this was the British Talbot company. And a very distinctive sort of front end with those headlamps very close together. Then a Jaguar Mark II. This is a 3.8 litre. I think it's a 65. I have done a little bit of research, and although the MOT history is a bit weird on this, I think it is a 65. Possibly imported somewhere else. original 4-speed manual, lots and lots of wood, lots and lots of leather, almost beige leather. I think it might be olive though, but it is beige leather. That's very good. It's very smart looking one. That's probably worth a fair bit of money actually, that. And you've got something that I'm very familiar with. I saw a lot of these over the course of the weekend. A 2002 MG TF. This has actually got a very interesting colour combination. It's got beige leather interior with this sort of turquoise paint. I imagine this is a monogram colour actually, for one of those. One of the cars I've yet to drive on the channel, I've been wanting to get one for years, is a Vauxhall Astra G. And this is a very late Astra G. It's a 2004-5. It's the Enjoy model, which I believe was a run-out special edition. So it'll have all the kit on it. I can't believe it. I've never been able to get my hands on one of these for review. And, well, here is one just being used every day. They're starting to disappear really fast, these Astra Gs now. Next to it, 1976-1977 MG Midget. On an R registration. This has got the later interior, got the Triumph gearbox and the Triumph 1.5 engine in it, because that was the only one that was certified for the US emissions regulations after sort of 74, I think it was. Rubber bumper, yeah, just like this owner's going to leave them alone, I think, is my preference with these. And then this is a 1957 MGA with the 1.5 engine, different 1.5 from one of the Midget. And yeah, this sort of colour was very popular at the time. I had a friend of my mother's actually, when I was a child in the early 90s, took me out in an MGA exactly this colour because he just rebuilt it. And we've got a couple of extra sort of bonus things on around the back. We've got this 2001 Vauxhall Omega. This is the 2.2 model CD. Apparently the people who own the actual land, this is actually one of their cars, and the green one over there is a spares one. Very rare, any Omega's rare now, but to see two of them together like this is interesting. That is actually quite a fabulous car. It's not the top of a range or anything. It would be like an MB6 or something like that, or an Elite. That's just a CD, but it's still very nice. Anyway, I think that's it for now. What an enjoyable evening. So there we go, viewers. A little bonus, slightly shambolic shuffle around some of the cars that were at the Test Valley Motor Enthusiast 50th anniversary. We've been part of the club now for 4.5 years, and yeah, we'll probably stay in that club for some time to come. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment below, and we shall see you very soon for some more not particularly interesting and very vague music.